Hello and welcome to the next session. So, last time I was talking about the values and ethics in the interview. So, let us see and recapture. So, we often look interview as a one-sided process or one-sided perspective. So, that should not be there. We want to find out a reliable team member who can do the job very well, that is I have already told you about, okay. And we have to have a constant flow of the information from the team member, okay, and that is what we call a successful requirement has to be there, okay. So, successful defined honest requirement for the candidate should be the next step to find out an interview process as a whole. So, to see a new teammate in the best light, interview should be like a real working process and not a graduation exam. So, that is where I stop. So, it should not become like our regular examination system where I am supposed to answer only few questions out of the selection choices. So, let us see how. So, we go to a resume filter, and as I said last time also, we cannot find the people who have a lot of experience in the PhD and then having acquired all the technical skill and go through the screening process. It is going to take a lot of time. So, what is doing? Find yourself in a room with a whiteboard. So, let us try to see how we work, where you answer a set of complicated and specific problem. So, you yourself ask a question and you find out yourself as a solution. Are you able to do it yourself, or what kind of answer you are looking from the other? Then you look for the software development, software architecture, machine learning, combinatorial optimization, category theory, and other important topic to be selected from the best of the candidate. So, do you find that a person having all kinds of experience? Probably, maybe, but difficult to. Multiple people, each expert in the field will be tested with their different skill set, and that is more likely to be a test of your interview with a tricky problem with the experience, and each one look at a different set of problem to tackle with. So, this is better option. Look for multiple people who have expertise in their own field. Finally, a company executive will see if you are a good cultural bit and can go along with the company values at all. So, your cultural background, this is your personal one, okay, your personality trait and your cultural background will fit into go into company values and ethics and goals or not. The only thing that are left out to is your DNA test, okay, IQ scoring, filtering, and test of a lie detector along with the two checks of artistic and chess playing ability. Now, this is overseeing many of the companies in India do not do a lie detector testing, but if you look at the company profile of a Russian companies, okay, the author has said very clearly you have to go through a lie test also. Okay. So, you may find it funny, but in certain Russian companies software developers really do need to pass through a lie detector to see or to get on the board. Okay. So, if you have a clear defined position, okay, your requirement already be most of the steps will be unnecessary, and more so you can have a bias on the interview process and towards the people will be a bad fit for your job. So, this process is nothing like more real working experience where the following is true. Interviews are intensely stressful which significantly affect your performance. So, naturally if I am having more stress, my performance will be affected significantly. Second, you are being tested on the topic unrelated to your task and you will solve the problem in the real position. So, there is no relevance between the topic which you have been tested and the problem you are going to solve in the real world. Third, interview questions and home assignment are not related tasks that you will do it. So, obviously the point is very self clear. So, if you could design a interview that is close to your real work experience as possible, as far as possible, all fulfilled parts of the all futile parts of the interview can go through and including your prior experience and education level. So, sometimes you are wasting your time for unnecessary thing, and if you design a good interview skill set, then your most of the job will be done very effectively. Okay. So, interview process must respect the candidate emotional condition, very true, and treat them as a human, not a machine. It should be underlying principle, it should be humanistic. Okay. The moment you start doing this, the potential candidate, okay, list will grow and the interviews will be shorter and more effective. This is the underlying principle of a interview process. So, okay. With that background, be open-minded and clear yourself of any prejudice. No. I want to take only a northern part of the world, a northern Indian people, or I want to take a southern Indian people, or a person who is from my region. No, that is a prejudice. Okay, so be open-minded and clear yourself of any prejudices you have. Some of the most talented and successful software engineers, software architects and data scientists, okay, we have worked, have unrelated job experience and lack of a formal education. So, if a chemical engineer is required to write a software, oh, he is a chemical, he does not know about the software. Look at the Google CEO, he is from a metallurgical or a not a software computer science background, but he is a CEO. Okay. So, I am not studying this thing as a matter of fact. So, correlation does not mean a causation. So, I am not correlated with the, but I have a good experience of the software, I am good at the other responsibility. So, this is what we call correlation does not mean a causation. By rejecting candidate using unnecessary pre-screening filter, you miss the opportunity to meet the talented people who are going to stay with you for a many number of years. So, of course, some organizations need a pre-screening filter. For example, you would not hire a surgeon without a diploma. Okay, that is where it is required, because you are dealing with the human life. So, naturally, in the software industry also, sometimes we require a person who have a good knowledge and good exposure to the domain field too. In some fields such as medicine, education gives essential experience that you cannot get it by yourself, but in the situation changes drastically, the fields such as the software, engineering and data science, where the knowledge and experience is accessible with a few keystrokes. So, naturally, medicine and software engineering, they are uncorrelated. So, that is what we say, you can acquire a knowledge by reading, by acquiring your basic skill set, and you can also become a very good data science person. So, this is way a interview process is selected. So, at last, remember to be a human and nice to the people who are talking with you. Create a pleasant experience and get with the much better result. This can be hard if you are interviewing people for the whole day. So, better to interview for half day also and make the people comfortable. Okay. So, such interview will take less amount of time and you will get a better candidate. Okay. So, there is something called as designing good interviews. Okay. How can I make a interview more relevant and time intensive? Very simple, be clear what idea you have. So, an ideal interview will be tested for a real time environment for a couple of months. So, that is why people are giving a internship offer, and during internship they look at the candidate, and maybe 3 months or 4 months time they find the candidate very good. So, they have done all the interview process, they have done the pre-screening, everything they have done. So, this is the hallmark of a good interview process. While there are several companies that can afford to operate without interviews, okay, using paid probation period is instead a very cost effective hiring solution, but maybe some good not a business strategy can afford. So, every company is not going to give you a internship with a paid stipend. So, some of the company they pay a very good money, okay, some of the company will not be able to give the paid stipend too, because they can't afford. A good interview should serve as a substitute for a real work experience, and that is what we call. So, sometime a computer science person is required for doing all the job. So, designing a test assignment. So, you can design a source of a test assignment to see the knowledge of the person. So, as a frequent source of question is interview own knowledge resources, how much you know, how much you are aware about, okay, and how you have read many intricate and interesting books and blog posts, and if knowledge you gain from these matters, okay, you have intellectual capability is variable and unrelated to the candidate job, please keep it out of the interview. So, naturally, you read a lot of blog, you read a lot of books, you are not aware about the, so that will fail into the other part of the interview process. So, try to be away from this kind of prejudices. Okay. Designing test interview. So, imagine a machine learning engineer interview where a candidate get a question about the mathematical details of reparameterization trick in variational autoencoder, where his job will be about delivering pre-trained classifier to production department as a scalable service. So, I am being interviewed for a machine learning engineer. My job is to have a reparameterize the trick of a variational auto encoder. So, I have a auto encoder, I have to reparameterize the auto encoder. So, I have to deliver a pre-trained modifier who does the classification job in my production department. So, this case might seem to be unrealistic, but it may happen too. So, after some technical question, the interview started asking about the what they call subtleties of the native code of integration in Java application. So, now I have ML application using Python, and I am being interviewed about the Java code. So, do you integrate native code into your application? The interviewer said no. Developer say that is good because I do not really know about much about this thing. Then another interview say, well, anyway, I would like to ask you about something in any way. So, I have an interview candidate I am interviewing for. Okay. So, that is what we call. So, developer, but I know about the native code integration, and if you say it is not relevant, could you move on? Okay. So, if I say okay, no, I do not know much about it, can we move on another question? So, interview asks another question. So, this question was bad, but no matter how it looked at you, it was it was really irrelevant to the skill requirement of the position, because I am looking for a position of a ML developer where I have to use a pre-trained model and give to the production as a classifier model. It was irrelevant to the company. The interviewer already knew about the candidate, could have provided a better solution or could not provide a better answer. It increased the stress factor of the interview, possibly affecting the answer of the more relevant question that would have allowed. So, it diminishes the value of the company for the candidate too. So, that is what we call. So, on the contrary, a good interview question will be following. Look at the person related to the problem at the candidate and to solve his or her problem. So, you have to have a good patient listening. A hard as a simple candidate daily working experience. So, the largest problem of any interview question is the time span. Okay. We expect a typical interview problem to be solved in less than 10 minutes. The real working environment does not have such time constraint. To narrow down the gap, you can create a test assignment. Ideally, assignment should be about implementing to 2 to 4 hours. So, that is a hallmark of your interview process. If you want to have a very good developer, give him the job and let him do or her do within 2 to 3 hours time. So, that will give, that is why nowadays internship was being given as a paid internship, where your assignment are given and you are tested for the job. So, this is the okay. So, I will just brief out. To create a test assignment, do the following: take a core task that is performing a similar role directly related to the work, and be a smart. Smart means specific, measurable, achievable, relevant and time bound. So, be smart in the sense that your task description should be very smart. Okay. Be specific what you want, be measurable, how can you measure the thing, and achievable, and then relevant and time bound, and try to estimate how long it is going to take. So, with this kind of input, your interview process will be very good, and you will be able to judge a candidate from a prospective candidate, will be very good team player with you, and it will stay with you. Thank you so much.